most people do that, right? Like
They do.
most people, no matter where you are, you think, man, am I really qualified to do this? Like,
They
are
think.
people really going to listen to me? Does my voice really matter? And the answer is unequivocally yes, all the time. It just matters. It matters way more than you think. And in fact, just having the courage to stand up and say, hey, man, I don't really think this is right, creates other people that say, you know, I don't either. And then the third person, I don't either. And then all of a sudden you have a group, you know, and that just comes from you guys understanding who are out there right now. Like, I get this DM all the time. Bro, you have a huge voice. You know, I don't have any voice. That's not true. You have a huge voice. You have a huge impact. You're able to talk to your neighbors, your family, your friends, the people at your office, and have real conversations, guys. Building a movement in culture is no different than building a movement in business or building a business, okay? A lot of people in business, and I'm going to tie this back to entrepreneurship because that's what this show is generally about when the world's not burning. You know, when you grow a business, you guys have heard me tell you this all the time. Our business is a result of lots of one-on-one conversations over the course of time. Like, it's not, you know, you go out there and you have 100 people or 200 people every time you go to talk to someone and they're going to all listen to you and go. That's not how it works. It doesn't even work that way for someone with a voice. Like, the amount of individual conversations that have to be had to build something that actually matters is massive. So why not start now? Why not start right now having these individual conversations? And the fact that people don't understand this concept, that it's one customer at a time or one like-minded individual at a time, if we're talking about a movement, which is what we're talking about now, that's what keeps people from even getting involved, because they think they don't have the power to do it because they can't get the attention of 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 people. It still doesn't matter. Like, even for someone with a huge audience, it's one person at a time. Like, even if one person listens to this show, and only one, and decides, you know what, I'm going to get involved too, that was worth doing the show.
And self-enterprising people aren't lazy. They don't wait for opportunities to come to them. They go after the opportunities. Self-enterprise means always finding a way to keep yourself actively working toward your ambition. Self-enterprise requires two things. Number one, creativity. Creativity to see what's out there and shape it to your advantage. Creativity to look at the world a little differently. Creativity to take a different approach. Creativity to be different. And what goes hand in hand with the creativity of self-enterprise is number two, the courage to be creative. The courage to see things differently, and the courage to go against the crowd. The courage to take a different approach. The courage to stand alone if you have to. The courage to choose activity over ease. And activity generally relates to how you feel about yourself. Understanding your self-worth, how valuable you are. What could you do if you had all the skills, took the classes, read the books, burned the midnight oil? What could you do? What true value could you develop? This is one of the better exercises. What could I become? What could I really do in the marketplace? In enterprise, home, family, experience, love, friendship, marriage. How valuable could I become? Am I valuable enough to work on what's not working so I can reach my full capacity? If I'm operating at 20%, what could I possibly do with the other 80%? Once you start understanding how valuable you are, it's a whole new experience. Understanding self-worth. It plays a major role in our ability to be self-enterprising. Our self-worth makes the difference between being lazy and being active. Being self-enterprising. If we don't feel good about ourselves, we won't feel good about our lives. And if we don't feel good about our lives, we won't be very interested in looking for opportunities. So you see, being self-enterprising doesn't just relate to the ability to make money. Being self-enterprising also means feeling good enough about yourself, having a great enough self-worth to want to seek advantages and opportunities that will make a difference in the future. Enterprise is always better than ease. Every time we choose to do less than we possibly can, it affects our self-confidence, our self-worth. If we keep doing a little less every day, a little less, every day that we keep doing a little less, we are also being a little less. Can you imagine what you'd end up being after 10 years of doing a little less every day? It's devastating. Think about it. Doing less could ruin your life. Now, you can reverse the process of doing a little less. You can reverse this process by using your self-direction, your self-reliance, your self-discipline. You alter the course by doing a little more each day. A little more. And pretty soon, you'll develop a new habit of doing rather than neglecting. And days and weeks and months of doing a little more will ultimately do what? It'll increase your confidence and your courage and your creativity and your self-worth. In the end, it's how we feel about ourselves that provides us with the increased courage and creativity for self-enterprise. It's how we feel about ourselves that provides the greatest reward from activity and enterprise. It's not what we get or what we accumulate that makes us valuable. It's what we become that makes us valuable. You don't have to worry about the winds that will most certainly blow around you, the obstacles, the negativity that will stand in your way. You don't have to worry about what other people will say. You just have to keep your mind on your course. Those winds may blow fast and furious, but if you know your path, if you know where you are going, they will help push you toward the dreams and goals and treasures that you have already decided you're going after. Your goals will push you forward, ahead of the stormy weather. There are some amazing people around that we can learn from today. People who have already braved the storms and come out on top. People who are still alive today. People who started with nothing and ended up with something great. Famous people, not so famous people. Maybe even people you know, but don't know their stories. People who had an early vision, an ambition. People who turned their focused dreams into the reality of success. Stories of success are all around us, everywhere. Take the time to talk to these people or read their stories. You might learn something. You might find out that they have already traveled the path you are now on. Many of these people have written books on their journeys. These books tell the stories and give the secrets that we can all learn from. Because motivation, lasting motivation, is backed with education. Let's say you want to go away to a place you've never been before. Wouldn't you want to find someone who had been there? Ask them a few questions? What's the best way to get there? The safest route? The quickest route? What do I need to bring to be totally prepared? What fun things should I look for on the way? What dangers do I need to avoid? By talking with someone who has already been there, it'll make your trip that much more enjoyable. It's the same thing with life. By listening to those who are farther along in the journey you are interested in taking, and learning from their successes and failures, you just might pick up something that will make your journey that much better. Listening to the stories of others can be motivating, captivating. They can provide that extra push you've been looking for. They can demonstrate what the power of ambition is truly all about. They've been there. Their knowledge is valuable. And when you use that knowledge and motivation to take action, you'll gain momentum. Eventually, you will find that the key to motivation, true motivation, is right there inside you. You won't have to look elsewhere to get pumped up, turned on, charged up. With the right knowledge behind you, you will learn how to motivate yourself.
You have got to make a declaration. This is what you stand for. You're standing up for your dreams. You're standing up for peace of mind. You're standing up for health. You want it. And you're going to go all out to have it. It's not going to be easy. When you want to change, it's not easy. If it were in fact easy, everybody would do it. But if you're serious, you'll go all out. and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm going to turn this situation around. I'm not going to sit back and moan and cry over what happened and what went wrong and who did what. I'm going to do something about this situation.
Many years ago, I read a book by Terry Cole Whitaker. It was a classic. What you think of me is none of my business. Think of the amount of time that is wasted on negative energy, wondering what other people think of you. What they think of you really doesn't make any difference. It's what you think of you that makes a difference. So as you go through the day, don't worry about what other people think of you. Just say, I'm all right. I'm God's highest form of creation.
So what people tell you doesn't matter at all. It's what you stack. It's what you assemble. It's what you create. It's the habit of what you put in your head. And today I don't blame you, because we got a whole culture that's always blaming somebody else for something in their life.
It's truly a scientific fact that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And now you take this tiny little subatomic particle and you take it and you put it in a particle accelerator and you rev up the speed of these things and collide them at 250,000 miles per hour. You collide them, you open up the particle accelerator looking for your source, and guess what's in there? Nothing. No thing. That the dot that began you originated from a field of energy that has no boundaries, no beginnings, no ends. It's infinite. It's an infinite potential. And the question that I have for you is, if you can get this, that you didn't begin with that particle because particles themselves do not create more particles. St. Paul put it this way in the New Testament, that which is seen hath not come from that which doth appear. They talked a little strange in those days, huh? What that means is that everything that we see in the material world doesn't originate in the material world. It's the spirit that gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. If the shape of your eye can be in an energy field that has no boundaries, no form, no materialness to it, why not the shape of your life?
You have got to change the way you think. It is the whole determining factor of where you go in life. We are all where we are today because we thought ourselves to this position. If you don't like the position, think yourself out of it. Your brain is divided into two halves, positive and negative, good and evil. It don't function on nothing else. Ain't no neutral ground in your brain. It's either positive and good or negative and evil. Each half of your brain has millions of factory workers on each side. You got 1 million factory workers on the positive side. You got 1 million factory workers on the negative side. At the forefront of each one of those factories in your brain is a foreman. You got foreman positive and you got foreman negative. You are in charge. You're the boss of the factory.
You need to remember that what's going on in our world right now is not just difficult for you, it's difficult for everybody. Now, certain people might be doing better right now. They might be making money. Their job might be more secure, or maybe things are going, better for their fitness or whatever. Here's the point. This shit is stressful and it's wearing us the fuck out mentally. There's a lot of people out there who are struggling in spite of the fact that they're doing everything they know they should do. And that's who I want to talk to today, okay? Look, guys, this shit, pursuing success, becoming someone who is abnormal, becoming someone who sets the fucking standard for others, becoming someone who shows the rest of the world what is possible is a very difficult path. You are going to have people shit on you. You are going to have unexpected circumstances arise. You are going to have the government fucking shut the country down. You are going to have all these things that you never fucking counted on come and smack you in the face over and over and over again. This is just part of being on that path. But here's what I want to point out to you all, every single one of you. Every single one of you who is struggling right now, you need to understand this. What you're going through right now is necessary. What do you mean it's necessary? It's necessary because what's happening right now is you are forging the fucking skills. You are forging the determination. You are forging the grit. You are forging the fortitude. You are forging all the fucking things that nobody else is gaining because they're sitting on their hands and you're willing to push through. This fire you're feeling, this pressure you're feeling, this frustration you're feeling, this is what is going to make you into the weapon that you are going to become that will then build the life that you are out to build. I need you to understand this. I call it the gauntlet, okay? You cannot develop the skills you need to win consistently without going through the motherfucking gauntlet, all right? And a lot of times when we're going through this gauntlet, we self-pity, right? We talk about how unfair it is. We talk about how fucking hard it is. We talk about how nobody gets it. And guess what? All those things are fucking true. It's not fucking fair. Most people don't get it. Most people have no idea how fucking hard it is for you. And guess what? They're never gonna. So why are you screaming about it?